Hi, everyone. Another opportunity for the Consortium University to serve the imaging channel. So I don't think this gentleman needs an introduction, but Ed McLaughlin has really built this industry and has been such a big part of it, and yet didn't decide to retire when he certainly could have, and has decided to has started a very successful company called Predictive Insight. And Ed, I know everyone would want to understand how this serves the industry, what dealers can do with these tools, and sort of what your thoughts were in building it.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that, Kate. And by the way, I didn't build this industry. I've been around for a long time, but I sure as hell didn't build this industry. I wish I could take credit for it. I was around while it was being built, but I didn't do it. In any case, yeah, when I left Sharp, I was looking for a number of different things to do, and there were some areas that I felt really concerned about where the industry was going and what sort of things we needed to do, the sort of tools we needed to have. And to be candid with you, at the time, I never really considered DCA as the place where this might be done, because at the time that I left Sharp, I still considered DCAs as just simply something to collect, automate the meter reading process, and that was basically it. I got involved with a fellow by the name of Leo Benetti a little while after I got out of the business, and he started utilizing the DCAs, and it was FM ordered at the time he was using, but he was doing things to help develop a predictive maintenance model. Now he had to do a lot of other extra work around it, but he picked up the data points, and he actually I saw remarkable improvements in his service organization as a consequence of what he did. That intrigued me quite a bit. As time went on, I was involved with NextEra. I was on their board, and when talking to Wes one day, we were talking about getting more data points into NextEra through a DCA, and we were going to go look at a couple of them, and he introduced me to EKM. The minute I saw what EKM had done, the amount of data points they were collecting and things of that nature, I said, this is something that really has to be brought to the United States. This changes the game, because this is not built just for meter readings. And as I learned the history of what was going on there, I said, this is definitely something we have to bring to the business, because they didn't start EKM as a DCA. They started EKM as an account management tool. And what they did, they were manually managing accounts such as Deloitte Touche and United Rail and some other UK accounts, Buckingham Palace, BBC. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to manage all the assets the same way. So they were managing IT and print, and they wanted to manage the print assets the same way they manage the IT assets. So they start building a management tool. The meter readings came about as a consequence of the algorithms that they needed to put together to manage the environment. So you end up with this meter reading and an intelligent meter reading system to boot. So it's actually, I mean, how much better can you make a meter reading system? But it's a little bit better than the other meter reading systems. But the other tools that come along with it completely alter the way that you manage the base. For example, the older DCA systems, you could probably manage somewhere, one person in a full-time day can manage roughly around 3,500 devices or so. So these large organizations have large organizations within their organization managing the fleet. With the EKM product, Insight, you can manage up to 10,000 devices with one full-time person as opposed to 3,500. And since they've improved the data points, improved the processes, you can actually manage now up to 15,000 if you follow all the best practices. So it's really a remarkable difference. And so I said, this is something that we've got to bring to the market. And we were completely focused and have been since our inception, almost completely focused on EKM Insight. We've recently added MPS Monitor, and we've added them because I found that they do much of the very same things. They do go about doing things a little bit differently than in Insight, and the framework and infrastructure of NPS Monitor is different than Insight. And most of our business is built on Insight, but I don't want to dismiss it or make it sound like it's only about one particular tool. One tool, maybe another tool might be better for another. But the whole purpose of this was not to have a better meter reading system, because quite frankly, that would be a waste of energy and time. But I've been really concerned about the productivity levels of dealer organizations. And that's not to say they haven't done a good job, by the way. The dealers have improved their productivity remarkably over the past few years. The question is whether or not they've done a good job. The real question is it good enough for where we're going and what we're doing and where the industry is headed? When an industry matures, you've got to refine the back office. The level of gross profit is still pretty good. It's still darn good. But is it going to be the same that allows us to have the same inefficiencies that we've had in the past? The answer to that's absolutely not. You're not going to be able to get away with it. You're going to have to improve your productivity, have to do things better. And so we will look for ways to bring on tools that would support the dealer better, help them improve their back office, help them improve their efficiency, help them measure and look for wasted toner and things. And the amount of toner waste that we've been able to help dealers get under control, quite frankly, it levels into the millions of dollars. It's not insignificant stuff. And you don't need to be $100 million dealer to be talking about that kind of savings. I mean, quite frankly, we've seen a $20 million dealer pick up an additional $2 to $3 million in profit just by managing their supplies right.
Could you describe that process a little bit?
Well, the process is managing, making sure that they're utilizing the toner's maximum capacity, and you got to get the right reports. We provide them with reports, show them where things are being removed early, what might be causing it, what sort of things, what kind of behavior is going on from the machine setup to there's different things that can be done inside a device that can give you meter reading or give you a change notice too early, and you can control that within Insight. You can actually help someone to control that, turn that notification down. So we'll see people changing stuff out, and there's still 20% of toner left in it. Well, and there's a lot of it. It's not an insignificant thing. It's very significant. The other thing we found that we were able to do is, because we only, and this is really a process of our billing process, because we only charge for managed devices, we easily can persuade the dealer to look at managed and unmanaged devices or the competitive activity in their account. One of the things that we discovered, and early on I thought it was an anomaly of small dealers, because frankly all our customers in the very beginning were smaller dealers. But I now can tell you emphatically, it is not an anomaly for small dealers. It is for every dealer, and that is the penetration into the account. Across the board, dealers are only about 50% penetrated into their accounts, into their existing accounts. So they're only getting half the business for print in their accounts.
So you're suggesting other vendors are, so there might be two different dealerships supporting that customer.
2, 3, a direct, whatever. What's also interesting is that we can also show them that they may have, from a different source, the same product that they're supplying supplies to, that they may also be selling or providing supplies to somebody else that's has the same product in the account that they have. They may have bought that through online. It could have been a number of different ways. So there's a lot of opportunity for toner leakage, and we can help point those sort of things out.
When you work with a dealership, say $20 or $30 million dealership, what's on average, and everybody's different, the amount of waste or toner displacement, meaning, they're not using it for the machines they're being paid for. How much is that? Is it 20%? Have you seen a certain number?
I can't give a number across the board,
Right. No.
but it's probably about 20%.
Yeah.
On average.
Wow.
It's not insignificant.
No, it is not.
And it's not to say that that's the case in all their accounts. Some of their accounts might be fine. Some are actually worse than 20%. But what we look at is the pages that are left. How many pages
are you getting that information to create those cost savings opportunities?
Oh, well, I'm sorry, repeat that again.
How quickly? So you're engaged, you are engaged with the dealership. How soon? Is it 3 months? I just was wondering how long before you're able to really, you have the data now. How quickly are you able to turn that back into money in their pockets?
You can start within a month.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, realistically, the more that you've got assimilated into the system,
Sure.
the more you get, but you'll see information, you'll be getting data points and reports back. I mean, you get information, you don't get the algorithms, don't do the finished calculations until you've got a little bit of time under your belt. But certainly within a month's time, you're beginning to see some things that are going on. You at least know where you need to go to find things.
That's excellent. And how would someone get started with your company? What's the process? And then, how does it work for them?
Well, we don't have a sales force, believe it or not.
We don't need it. People come to you.
Well, it's been word of mouth. Dealers contact us. We support the Pro Dealer Group. We're a sponsor of CDA. We're visible, and people know who we are. And in conversations, we plant the seeds, and very frequently people just
for sure
call us back and say, "Hey, let me take a look at this thing." Almost everybody that has done an evaluation with one of our systems has gone with the system. Not all right away. We're low key. Sean and I are actually the worst sales reps on the face of the earth. We're having great success, but we defy all the sales principles. No pressure, no close, no anything. When they're ready, they're ready. And quite frankly, it's necessary for us now. I almost laugh at people giving me emails constantly, get more customers, do that. If I get any more customers, I'll ruin my business. We assimilate all that we can assimilate, and we quite frankly try desperately not to take on more than we can fully support.
Nice.
And we were growing triple digits year over year since our inception. And if we use the numbers of devices that are supposed to be out there, according to most of the conversations, we have roughly 7% share of the 7 to 8% share right now of the office space. So in a 4-year period of time, that's
amazing.
Not too bad.
No, not too bad. Could you give us like a case study? Could you explain? So for someone watching this from an educational standpoint, maybe sharing them like, this is the expectations, this is how it worked, in a little bit more detail with it. And maybe you don't want to give the dealership name because you want to disclose it, but some idea.
No, I don't want to get into dealerships because
no.
I asked anybody to do that, and I don't want to do that. And
I don't want to get, not a name, but
excuse me. The most people come to us because what starts to be the problem is that either they're not getting the support that they need, or they are concerned about reinstalling DCAs all the time. Mm-hmm. And that happens a lot more now than it did before. And there's some logical reasons. It's not something that's inherent into the legacy systems. They were built on .NET. They're not being updated regularly now. They're end of life. FM audit, print audit, print fleet are all end of life.
Yeah.
and ECI wants to replace them with Prenista. So there's not a lot of work being done with them. .NET changes regularly. We're not doing all the upgrades. It runs into problems. Our framework, we're built on a Java framework. So we're built on an enterprise platform, completely different. And as a consequence, we don't have that problem anyway. But in addition to that, the DCA is self-healing. What that does is it analyzes the data that's coming into it. If it sees corruption, it shuts itself down and restarts based on the most recent database automatically. It's completely seamless. Now, that doesn't mean you don't get disconnected from the network. If the machine gets turned off, the network gets turned down. If someone has it installed on a laptop, which we really discourage, the laptop gets shut down, you're out of contact. So out of contact is different than reinstalling.
Yes.
Once you get it back in contact, you're back in business. But we ran into dealers that were running into problems such as sending out, they would allocate as many as 4 or 5 service technicians on Monday morning to go out and reinstall devices. Well, what a bloody waste of time that is.
Yeah, for sure.
But necessary function, but a complete waste of money, and not the way you want to utilize your technicians. I can't give you a case study per se, but I can tell you that everybody we deal with, I can't think of a single company that we're dealing with that hasn't seen improvements almost immediately in their productivity. And it's just an easier way to do business. And if you make it easier for your employees, you make it easier for your customers, and that helps you with retention.
So what would be 1 or 2 of the questions that a dealership would be asking themselves to see if they would be, listen, your client roster may not be able to expand to include them, but what should be 1 or 2 of the questions that they're asking themselves to say, this is where we need to be going in the future?
Everybody needs to be thinking about where they're going. How are they getting all the productivity they can out of their administrative staff, out of their service staff, and as much as it's all improved, as I said before, it's improved dramatically, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be. It really needs to be doubled. And I was talking to one dealer not too long ago, and he's doing a really good job. He's probably somewhere around almost $180,000 per employee. And he's got a target in his mind of 300,000. That dealer owner is thinking right. He's thinking the right way.
Okay.
And he's not alone. There's many dealers that are starting to think like that. If you talk to John Hay and Todd Johnson, they're going to tell you that they are impressed by the way dealers have improved productivity, but also are keenly aware of the other fact that I've stated, that it needs to get even better. And the dealers are aware of it. And the better they run their dealership, the easier it is to diversify. I mean, one of the conversations that comes up all the time is, and this has nothing to do with our business, but the business and industry in general, is diversifying. Well, diversifying can be a very dangerous thing. If your core business isn't getting everything out of it that you can get out of it, you can get distracted and ruin your business in general by trying to diversify into something else. So getting your core business to the maximum capacity helps ensure the ability to diversify.
That makes sense. And productivity is part of that. So you're saying $300,000 an employee should be what good looks like.
I would say that should be the new target of good. Yes.
Yeah.
And we have a long way to go to get there.
Yes. And where's the 2 places that you see the industry going, or a place where you don't think it should be, and where would you like to have it be redirected?
Everybody wants to take a shot at doing something like that. And when I tend to do it, I go too far out to make any sense. The thing that we need to do is stay close to the customers, anticipate how they go about doing business, and try to be at least in sync with that thought process. is a term I refer to as fashionable. We're professional. I don't mean, it's a nice shirt. Yeah, it's a nice shirt, but that's not, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being in tune with your customer, what they want, what they need, what problems they have, how they go about doing business, and fit in better, accommodate, and align yourself with what they're trying to accomplish. When you do that, you're going to make the right decisions for your business and for where the business is going in the future. There's much we haven't. We keep saying we're declining, and print as a product in the office is declining. It will continue to decline, and the decline started in 2008. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that it's a permanent thing. As soon as of all things, the iPhone came out, it changed everything, because you could look at PDFs, and all of a sudden viewing PDFs portably became, this is the way it is. Once that happened, then everybody jumped on board. Now you can see information. We were always under the misinterpretation in our industry that our business was about clicks and copies. No, it was not. It was about unstructured data. We were the source of unstructured data. And that is the real knowledge with which business runs. And we were an important, integral part of the process, because we were the source and the function of that, which drove the workflow, which drove all the information movement. Now it doesn't have to go on paper anymore. Now it can be done electronically, and unstructured data is in the computer. It's mobile. You can get it anywhere. You can pull it, and why bring it up? Why bring bags of paper when all of a sudden you've got it in your hand, or in your laptop, or for that matter, in your phone or your tablet. So the whole portability has changed everything about print, but it hasn't eliminated print. And it's not going to eliminate print. It's not ever going to eliminate print. Ever is a long time. I mean, who the hell knows what ever is? But in the foreseeable future, print's here to stay. Now, print outside of the office is here forever, probably forever and a day, because that's where you get production print, some of the other non-office related print, industrial print, labeling, packaging, all that sort of stuff. It's going to be there. And that has changed dramatically. I don't want to get into all history stories, but I mean, I used to, when I first started selling for 3M Company, they wanted me to, one of my big accounts at the time, it was one of my very few accounts, but I had to penetrate. It was Philadelphia Electric Company. And they had these copy rooms built when they put the big tower on South Market Street. And was it Market Street? Yeah. And so, and that would have been West Market Street. It wouldn't have been South Market Street. That had gone the wrong direction. And I'm a Philadelphian. But in any event, they built these rooms, and what they built the rooms with a Xerox 4000 in mind. Me being a 3M guy, I don't have anything like this. I did have another plain paper device, sort of, the VHS, but I was being pressured by my company to put devices in there. I said, no, I don't think that's the way I'm going to go. And I went in to the people that were managing the environment and said, we don't fit in there, so let's not go there. I said, where I do fit is over here. What else I can do is I can help you pull some of the volume away from that high click stuff, and let me show you how to do this. And I would use electrostatic copiers to make masters to put onto A.B. Dick and addressograph, holograph presses. And I'd pull volume out. I'd show them how they can make it real simple. This is self-etching. This is this. You do this. And what's interesting is your craft, and your customer, and what makes them tick. You can start directing them to it. And I ended up putting our higher speed plain paper devices down in the print shop, and I ended up almost owning the entire field outside of the headquarters. And there were so many production stations and They had at that time, they had two nuclear stations, and all this power generating and all the other stations were outside and around the Philadelphia area. And I became the source of that. I had that completely locked up. And quite frankly, that was more volume that was being done. And I was stealing the volume out of the 4,000 rooms by getting them to run jobs and show them how they could get it done really fast by bringing it down to the print shop. So you know your account, you know where it's going, you know what needs to be done. No one would even think about stuff like that today. It wouldn't be part of your process, wouldn't be part of what you think about. But if you think outside the box and don't just think about what you want or what your company wants, think about what your customer wants and what your customer needs, and how can you use your knowledge and your products to help benefit them. And gaining information is what it's all about. And that's where we come in. We help you gain more information about your account, the activity. In terms of what the people are thinking about, you've got to go do your homework on that. But
it seems like your whole career, knowing your craft, your account, and your customer, and being able to evolve into how you're gathering that information, that seems to be a through line, huh? And everything you've
through, there's consistent, and many of the people who work for me, have worked for me, will say, here he goes again, same message. I've said over and over, old is forever new. And be fashionable. Focus on your customer. If you become critical to your customer, you're going to do fine. And I've been saying that for 55 years, and so far it's worked.
So good. Well, until you decide that you don't want to do this anymore, it's very clear that we need you and that message. I just think that this will be an exciting thing for the folks at the Consortium University as they come in to listen to a master at this, and certainly understanding your customer in any business model makes sense, including our channel. I just think that this has been, if nobody else listens to this but me, I'm thrilled, but I know that everybody will be clamoring to hear what you have to say. And you've just been somebody that has been an idol for me in the industry. So I thank you
I appreciate that. I think we've gotten away from being customer focused by being account focused and account centric. And there was a reason for that. I mean, and you can't throw stones at it. It happened quite a while ago, and we have an entire generation. People that say that I've been in the industry for 20 years, they haven't seen it any other way. This industry really changed in 1982 with the 1981 Recovery Act. It took the lease off the books. They used to have to capitalize devices even when they were leasing them. And you had to understand what book value was. You had to sell completely different. That went away in 1982 with the 81 Recovery Act. And when it went away, people started selling monthly payments. It's been a good thing and a bad thing. It's been a good thing because a lot of people made a lot of money. It made it a lot easier to sell. But the problem with it is we're coming back to where we're having to capitalize some leases again. And things are changing, and people are looking at the book value. They're looking at time and money, and we're going to have to get back into thinking about accounts, what we do, and how we make their account life easier and better. And quite frankly, that's the old is forever new. That's the way it used to be. It's back again.
Right. I think that's a great place to end this very powerful conversation. What is old it is still going on and new, and most importantly, I think in any business model, focusing on the customer keeps that customer, as a client, and that's so important.
That's what it's all about. Yeah. Customer retention is everything.
That is everything. Thank you for making time for the Consortium University today.
Thanks for being on top of me and making me get off my dead ass and do something.
And Ed's information and his company's information is right in the description in the bio, right on the university. And I'm sure, although his client roster opportunity is limited, I'm sure if you try really hard and they have time for you, they'll be able to serve you as well.
Oh, we have time for everybody. It's just when they come on board, that's all.
That's right. All right. Thank you very much. This has been thrilling.
Take care. Thanks, Kate.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.